Hello, welcome to Testimony Tuesday. I'm your host, Charles Gates Jr. This week on Testimony Tuesday, we will be discussing how uh, I made a mistake and stepped in and cleaned up my mess. So stay tuned. So this happened about the New Year's entering into 2019. So up until this point, I was working at Big Lots. I had uh, all my bills paid up to date at that time, and prior to that, I've been really seeking God on when it's time to enter into full time ministry. I felt like the time was approaching, and that God has been preparing me for that. I didn't realize how much preparation needed to be done yet. So, after God not directly answering me whether or not it's time, I decided to take a leap of faith and quit my job to enter into full time ministry. That was a very foolish thing to do, considering that at that time in my walk, my sister and my mother were both living with me, and I was the only money maker in the house. I later, it was shamed me very much moving forward or during that season of my life at about doing that way. But anyway, fast forward to January uh, 2019. Um, when God didn't give me the direct answer, I went ahead and took that leap of faith, quit my job, emailed my human resources, told them I wouldn't be back, and then I waited. Several weeks went by, and my fridge looked very scarce, ran out of food, and the only thing I had left were poor man meals that you you eat when you're broke and waiting to payday for to buy groceries. So we're making meals out of what we could find, and uh, it was about a week and a half left until rent was due. I was very scared that I wouldn't be able to pay the rent and I would be evicted. I found myself on the floor daily for most of the day, crying out to the Lord to really answer my prayers and providing for me. Uh, After hearing silence for all that time, I really began feeling very discomfort in my spirit, and that's when the enemy came and really began attacking me hard, using my own mind and mistakes against me, putting uh, bad thoughts in my head about sh- that has brought shame and condemnation. And he sent messengers to encourage me in that time, that season. So thank you for that. But yeah, so about a week left till rent was due. Uh, my cousins were visiting, and they were talking about how they weren't happy where they were living and stuff like that. So having the extra room available, I offered them to stay at my house, and they offered to pay half the rent if out of gratitude. So that as well as I forget how I raised the other, yeah, I forget exactly how I raised the rest of the money, but uh, that came up with half of the rent I needed in order to uh, pay the rent, and I might have been donations like at the last minute, or someone helping me out at the last minute. I forget exact detail of where the rest of the money came from, but uh, right at the, I no, I think it was actually a week late. Yeah, it was rent was a week late the first month, and then it was late again the second month. The second month it was a week later late, so it was like 2 weeks late. By this, the landlord started getting suspicious, and I had to tell him that I wasn't working right now and how I'm trying to find a job. I was forced after 2 months to really confront that. I was petrified that he would evict me right then and there for not having a job. But God is God, and God gave me favor with the landlord, and He gave me quite a lot of time to really figure things out, and in the long run, He let me pay off the rent and payment, the back rent and payments until I got caught up. So God showed me favor there. Renting space in my house, He provided there, and there about after we ran out of food in the house, there was random there were random people like friends and relatives who didn't all know about my situation that would just come to the house and drop off boxes of food because they said they got too much from the food bank. And so, and one day we had no food. 3 days later, our cabinets were overflowing so full that we had to give some away. It's all about God's provision. It was 4 months until I would find another job. And in that time, I was deeply, deeply humbled. It came to the point where uh, I had to just get a job to fix that mistake. But God didn't just give me any job. He gave me a job with a nursing home whose motto was serving others through the love of Christ. So, sorry, neighbors just brought the dogs out. Uh, anyway, so it was a Christian nursing home, and while I was there, I got to minister to a lot of the elderly and mentally handicapped, and really brought the love of Christ into that place. So God took my mess and turned it into a message, and really humbled me to the point where I saw the need for humility. I wasn't always I wasn't always humble. There have been moments when I thought I was humble, and God had to show me that I wasn't in order to humble me more. No, those of you who attend our church listen often to Luke saying how humble I am. A lot of that, I had a certain level of humility before that moment, but that really put me in my place. Not bad in a bad way, but it really taught me the need for preparation and humility, to be subject to to our leaders, so that we can grow in our faith, grow in our walk, grow in spirit and in truth, so that we may do things the right way, so that we may climb God's ladder the right way, the ladder of leadership. There are many steps to the ladder of leadership, and if you try to skip over those steps, there's a good chance you're going to fall and God will have to catch you as you when you're on the verge of falling, uh, and you might have to, if you fall, take a step or two back and really work with God to fix those uh, errors so that you can move forward. Because there are things it is written that a man plans in his heart, plans his steps in his heart, but God directs his steps. No, many plans a man has in his heart, but it is God who directs his steps. Yeah, that's in Proverbs. I don't know the exact verse or chapter. You can Google it though, and it'll show up. Uh, but yeah, listen. There are many. God has a set destination for each of us when it comes to our ministry, but there is a roadmap to get there. God's design and plan, but there is mercy and grace for when we go a way that God didn't intend for us to go. There is a way for Him to take us and reroute us so that we get back on course, so that we may fulfill our God-given mandate on this earth. And that's what our topic will be about next week. How God rerouted uh, my journey once. A physical journey, but spiritual as well. That's going to be another interesting one. But yeah, until then, God bless, stay blessed, be blessed. In Jesus' name.